Are we getting any signals of World War III? Many people believe 2025 was just a teaser and 2026 is the trailer because the year has barely started and already the world is witnessing the serious geopolitical turmoil. In today's episode, we are going to explore some uncomfortable but important questions. Is Israel building pressure on Trump government to take actions against Iran? Could that pressure be based on sensitive information held about the United States? How are Iran and Russia trying strategic knots against the US and Israel? And how could China take strategic advantage of this entire situation? Today, we will clearly separate what is officially admitted, what is strongly suggested, and what remains controversial. So, let's check the background. What happened in Iran in June 2025? Let's start with what triggers everything. According to the United States and Israel, in early 2025, Iran crossed a line that scared almost everyone who was closely watching the nuclear situation. Because International Atomic Energy Agency estimates by May 2025, Iran had around 400 kg of 60% enriched uranium. That amount is enough to potentially produce multiple nuclear weapons if further refined. Nuclear weapons required about 90% of enrichment. And here the key point many people miss. Like going from 60% to 90% enrichment is much faster than going from 0 to 60%. That means Iran wasn't a year away anymore. It was months away only, if it decides to move fast. And Iran had another major advantage, the Fordow facility. It is built deep inside a mountain, designed to survive airstrikes, nearly impossible to destroy without special bunker buster bombs. For Israel, this was no longer theory now. This is a countdown begin for them. If they didn't take any action, Iran will have warheads ready against Israel. So Iran's progress became a nightmare for Israel. And from Israel perspective, action had to be taken to neutralize these sites. So question arises over here. So can Israel take action against Iran alone? Let's see that. So Israel has a history of attacking nuclear programs. It attacked Iraq in 1981. It attacked Syria in 2007. But Iran is a very different challenge. Why is it so? Iran is much farther away from Israel. Its facilities are deeply buried, and Iran has a powerful allies like China and Russia. If Israel attacked alone, the risk would be massive. A full regional war. Missile attacks from the Hezbollah and other groups are also possible. So Israel needed more than the fighter jets and bombs. Israel needed US backing, because the US has multiple military bases around the Iran in the Middle East. So that is why, while confronting with Iran, Israel needed US backing, and this is where things get serious. On June 21st, 2025, 7 Ghost-like B-2 Spirit bombers silently took off from the Missouri airbase. Their destination was deep inside the Iran. Their mission to drop the most powerful conventional bombs ever used on a nuclear facility buried under the mountains. This wasn't just another airstrike. This was Operation Midnight Hammer. However, Iran made a bold claim over here. Iran said there was no major damage to its nuclear facilities. They were able to move 60% enriched uranium to a safe location. This is what experts call strategic ambiguity, because US is claiming that they have done what they have meant to be, while Iran is not accepting it. Iran stated that they have successfully safeguarded their nuclear enrichment. So Iran also claimed there was no radiation leak, similar to how after the Noor Khan based strike in Pakistan, the US had to manage and cover the radiation concerns. But from Iran, we didn't get any much information about that there is some radiation leakage over there. So realistically, analysts believe that at least some amount of enriched uranium was successfully evacuated by the Iran. And this is the core reason why Israel and the US remain worried about. Israel has been continuously pressuring the US to take full-scale action against Iran. But why Donald Trump hesitating to do such action over there? Let's say that. So Donald Trump is a businessman, didn't want a direct confrontation with Iran. Why is it so? Because starting a war with Iran could open another major front, allowing China to take advantage, specifically on the front of Taiwan. Also, the war can stretch military and economical resources of a USA. So Trump was not ready at that point. But if no action was taken, Israel would face serious strategic damage, and so as the strategic allies of USA in the Middle East region. So according to some analysts, Israel played a bigger game. They argue that Israel used intelligence leverage, including sensitive information connected to the Epstein files, to increase the pressure over there. Israel already has a strong influence in the US political system, and reports suggested this pressure intensified after the June 2025 operation, even as US media continued debating the extent of Iran's nuclear damage. Some analysts argue that Israel's influence over the US decision is not only military or political, but also information that Israel holds. Important disclaimer over here: these are allegations and theories, not proven facts. What is publicly known is that Jeffrey Epstein had a deep connection with the powerful people. His network involved politicians, billionaires, and the institutions, and his operation clearly involved compromising material over there. What is historically documented over here is the Robert Maxwell, who was a father of a Ghislaine Maxwell, had a confirmed past linkage with the Israel intelligence, and the Ghislaine Maxwell is associated with Jeffrey Epstein. So what remain disputed and unproven over here is nothing but the claim that Epstein or the Ghislaine Maxwell directly worked for Mossad. So now government has officially confirmed this, but looking towards the situation and the historical ties of a Maxwell family with the Israel, it can be possibility that the details of whatever happening over there in USA in the Epstein Island, those were also Israel holds, and many more data, not just the Epstein file data. So Epstein file was just one of the, we can say, the drop in the sea. Okay, there are many things those Israel and the intelligence holds about the US and the US politics. However, many independent researchers believe that the full truth remains classified over here. So why this matters for Iran policy specifically? So critics, not government, raise this idea what we are going to discuss now. So power doesn't always come from the bombs or whatever the military equipments those you have, right? Sometimes it comes from information, relationships, knowing who is vulnerable and when. So some sources claims Israel holds sensitive information about the current US president, former presidents, powerful politicians and the industrialists. So this information, according to these reports, can be used to create a pressure on the US government to act against the Israel enemies as fast as possible. So this does not mean direct blackmailing is proven or something like that, or that leaders are forced into decisions, but the ties and the analysis shows this can happen. So it means geopolitical decisions happens in a pressure filled environments, not in a vacuum, and Israel is known for long term strategic planning like this. So why do US still hesitating to attack on Iran, though Israel is pressuring too much to the US? So even under the President Trump in 2025, one reality didn't change. A full scale war with the Iran would be extremely costly for the US only. It could trigger a global recession, the skyrocketing oil prices, a major opportunity for China to move on Taiwan, and expanded influence for the Russia. So Iran is not like a Syria or Venezuela or Iraq. Iran is a large in size, militarily prepared, and diplomatically supported by the Russia and China. So that is why Washington keeps hesitating to directly take actions against Iran. So looking towards the bigger picture over here, so where does this leave us? The discussion. Iran will keep pushing the nuclear limits. Israel keeps demanding the actions, and the US walk a very thin line. And intelligence, pressure, and ambiguity dominates over here in the world of geopolitics. And the biggest takeaway from the episode is nothing but modern wars may not start with the missiles, they start with the secrets and the intelligence. So thank you for watching till this point, and please subscribe the channel if you like the episode, share with your friends. Once again, thank you for watching.